Okay. Dipti, you can start.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight is the April 25th AHRB meeting. We have hopefully a short meeting with 2 items on the agenda. The first item on the agenda is 39 Riverside Place. Do we have anyone here from 39 Riverside?
Yes. Okay.
That should
Sorry,
be
he raised his
Greg,
hand. Yeah, he did just said Greg. I wasn't sure. Hold on. Greg, I'm trying to there you go. He's coming. Greg, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Hang on a second. Let me see what's wrong with my start video. There I am. Hi, everybody.
Hello, can you introduce
Greg.
yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Greg Sharp. I am the owner and applicant of 39 Riverside Place in Dobbs Ferry. And I'd like to present my project to you now. Let me do it. Now I have to I assume I have to I assume I haven't shared my screen yet, right? Okay, there it is. Okay. Okay. Hi, can everyone see my screen?
It's still loading, but there
there,
you go.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, so 39 Riverside is a very unique lot, very unique property. It's an existing single family home that was built in the early 60s. And was basically in the original condition. It has not been modified or changed since it was built in the 60s. And the house is basically a 1-bedroom house that needs to be rebuilt. My concept is basically to build the house in the same basically in the same position as the current house. My plan is to reuse part of the foundation and the utility connections and gain some efficiencies by building on top of the existing foundation. The idea is to build a relatively simple house, a simple shape, a simple form, which is somewhat in keeping with the neighborhood and the style and scale of other houses that are in the neighborhood. As well as taking advantage of the phenomenal river views and the incredible site that this house is, which is sitting along the river and sitting along the rail line, and as well as being in town. So the idea is to create something architecturally interesting and significant, but still keeping within the scale and the proportion of the town. Basically building the house in the same lot. I've coordinated and discussed it with my neighbors, and they are in support of the project. I've made adjustments according to some of their wishes. I've presented to the zoning board, went through the zoning board, and as well as the planning board. And now we are here at the most exciting AHRB part. So the concept is that I would keep the entrance to the house in the same location that it is currently, which is right at the middle of this side. So just due to the location of the road and the position of the house, I'm keeping the garage in the same position, and I'm utilizing the same driveway, the same curb cut, the same entrance to the house that it is currently. So I'm just having a little bit of a 2-car garage, so expanding the size of the garage, coming along, creating an entranceway along the side. You come into the house at this midpoint, and you can either go into the more utility areas, back into an office area, or you can come into this this great room, family room that opens up onto the backyard. Nice kitchen, open kitchen to that. Come up the stairs. There's a master bedroom and 2 kids' bedrooms and a type of family room study upstairs. The current house does not have a basement. I'm not planning on adding a basement. I would love to add a basement, but I feel like that would expand the scope of the project too much. I plan on building this house as green and as efficient and utilizing, not just utilizing the current codes or energy, expectations of the town, the stretch energy code, but also trying to use recycled materials, trying to do things that are, I think, prudent today. A goal would be to do solar panels on the roof, and creating this simple shape will help that minimize the impact of that, and also work well as generating a field for that. The elevations of the house are kind of in the sort of are in shape of the lot. So the idea would be to sort of minimize the effects towards the street. So this is sort of the concept, is the house would sort of like come together sort of towards the street, which is similar to what it does on the lot. And to have sort of a minimal modern facade, some steel and glass windows and with some wood screening. This is an architectural move that I do quite often on various projects of mine, which I can show you some imagery of. This would be the facade that faces the river. So the concept is that we have this shape that is sort of meant to sort of like act as a bit of an element that's sort of along the riverbank, opening up on this side, which is the bedroom, and opening up on this side, which is the backyard. This shape here is an entranceway, an entrance awning that would sort of come out and greet you as you come in and cover your pathway as you enter into the house. And then this shape signifies opening up onto the backyard. So creating an indoor-outdoor space in the backyard. This would be the view from the rear, just showing the windows. This window is both structural and architectural. So this actually does help stabilize the house as well. And then this would be like a typical French sliding door to open to the backyard. This would be the facade, a little bit quieter facade that would be adjacent to my neighbor's house. And so he would be looking at that facade. These are just some architectural imagery of materials. So the steel and glass windows, the wood, the concrete panels, the facade panels, this just sort of indicates, conceptually of the effect we're going for, a play between mass and transparent, and some of the shapes that we can create architecturally by having these simple moves. And here are some basic renderings of the house that we've created. So where's the side facade? It seems like we're missing one of the principal facades. But anyway, this sort of shows the effect of this shape opening up to the backyard and utilizing the indoor outdoor and the great room as sort of like one great space off the back, looking out over the bluff of the river. This is basically what the front of the house would look like as you would come up and drive up to it. This shows the side of the entranceway that would come around the side of the garage. This just shows another view between my house and the neighbor's house, showing that they're somewhat in scale, in proportion to each other. And showing the solar panels and just some other some other views. So are there any other questions at this time or comments?
So Greg, one question, did you need zoning variances for the house?
I did. The house was existing non-conforming, so it was not, it's not, from what I'm doing, the existing house is over the setback line. It was built pre-zoning. So we needed a variance for just the existing portion that was over. So we're not generating any new any new need for a zoning variance. It's just the existing non-conforming that generated that zoning.
And what about the height restrictions? You meet with everything?
Yes, but everything is everything, size, setbacks, everything else is within zoning.
Okay, and all those approvals are done, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's a really nice project. I think you've done a great job with the layout on that, and the materials are very interesting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, hey, Dale, you have any comments?
Sorry. Yeah, I have a few comments. I'm looking at the primary elevation, and I'm just trying to understand what influences the cut angles, and sort of like, why are there two different cut angles and a different angle for the canopy? I guess I'm not understanding quite how you're saying the canopy is actually running along the edge of the house, and and it's only about how many feet wide is that canopy in plan?
It's about I think it's about 3 or 4 feet.
I mean, in plan, it looks great, and somehow in the elevation, it's very distorted. So I'm just trying to understand what is happening and how it continues over. It's actually not over your front door, it seems.
It does actually come over the front door, but it also creates an opportunity to have a porch off of the master bedroom. So on the second floor, it's sort of hiding this porch element that's on top. So this comes out of the master, you have sliding doors, and you could walk out onto this porch. So the shapes are really generated by its connection to the river. That is sort of the concept is I'm making a bit of a play on being adjacent to the river and having that effect come with it. So the idea is that I'm creating a solid form and a transparent form kind of coming together. It's obviously one form, but just the architecture of that is that's kind of the concept, is giving it a bit of a unique architecture, something that's not supposed to be completely straight. It's supposed to be slightly playful. It certainly is not intending to be that's basically it. It's supposed being playful with it architecturally, but this is I want to have this entranceway come out to greet you as you come down this pathway. So from on the site plan, your site plan, the concept is this area you come through for parking, and then this pathway would sort of run along there, but adjacent to the river as well. And this pathway is greeted by this awning. So it's in connection with the pathway that you're walking through, coming into the house. So it is an element that's intersecting the house. So these two shapes are coming together.
And there's also a skewed angle for this patio deck portico. It also seems to be at an angle with the two
it's because it's on top.
Angle supports.
Yeah, because it's on top of that. Yes.
But you're also revealing part of it. It's also cut back, and you have a glass railing that you've placed in to maintain the height along the entire level on the second level.
For the patio as needed. Yes.
Mm-hmm. The other question I have, the other question I had immediately is, are all the wood finishes, such as the garage door and this patio element and any of the screening, are they the same wood type? Or are there multiple veneers? Because in
Yeah,
the
no,
renderings, they look different.
yeah, they would be the same wood type. Yes, they would be the same wood type. So this wood, the front door wood, and and then there's some of the front screen. You're right, they do look slightly different. I think maybe this one would be in shadow.
The garage door just seemed very bright and very different.
Yeah, no, they
different
would be the
directional.
same. They would be the same wood. You're correct. I wouldn't be using different woods.
Would the directionality also stay the same?
Well,
the
this
garage
is,
door?
I'm showing this as just horizontal boarding, and these are actually larger. These are larger elements. They're sort of they're sort of like fins that are coming off of it. So it is a slightly different effect, but it would be the same wood. The idea is to have a much beefier sort of element along the top than along the bottom.
And you also have two exposed chimneys on either side of the house. One from the
Yes.
fireplace and one from your boiler, I assume.
This is a pizza oven, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a pizza oven.
Okay.
So pizza oven, and this is a fireplace. That's correct.
And the paneling, the general gray paneling is stucco, or the general gray?
You know, it's
paneling
supposed to be a
is
cement
concrete
board.
panel. Cement
Yeah,
board,
it's
like
supposed to be a
fiber
concrete
C?
panel. It's supposed to be like this. This is
Okay.
yeah. I'm calling it recycled composite panel because my ultimate dream was to have it be a recycled composite panel. It's somewhat, they make a lot of beautiful products, and I can't say whether or not, like the one I want is obviously a beautiful one, and I just need to, the recycled content of it is sort of the issue, is where I could find this product that has it as a green listed product is sort of the idea.
I think the transformation of the house is quite good, and I think the planning on the inside is also quite good. But those are my questions and comments. I'm going to hold off on any additional comments until we get to hear from other board members.
Paul, you have any comments on the project?
Yeah, I think it looks really interesting, really cool. I apologize. I was looking over the plans probably while you were talking about the material, that white material. What is that again? I'm sorry.
This
Yeah, the majority of the siding.
this is a composite concrete panel.
Okay.
So basically it's like it'll feel like it's like it's like a stone type of surface. So it'll be like a concrete.
That's really cool. And that inspo pic to the right, is that low tech architecture?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
low
like
tech.
that.
So
Yeah.
it's basically I'm just trying to give an example of the shape and the lifting off of the ground, and that is just giving you a reference, not saying I am trying to create low tech. As much as I would love to cover my house in corrugated shipping panels, I will not do that. Would it be better if I did? I don't know, but I think I'm trying to use, respectful, simple materials. Obviously high end. I'm not trying to do anything that's going to look, shoddy. So I'm trying to do something that is a high end look. But I mean that's basically it. So maybe I get an amazing deal at Porcelanosa. It may be a Porcelanosa facade. It may be from something of that caliber. So it'll be something a very nice material.
No, I really like it. I think it's going to look great. Good job.
Thank you.
Greg, are you going to be living in this house?
That is my goal. Yes, that is my goal. This is just an example. I just finished this house in the Hamptons, just showing you the sample of like the steel windows. And this is obviously a different, detailing, but the wood graining on the door, the steel windows, you could see sort of, you could sort of see what the effect is that we're going for with this house. Yes, I plan on living here. That's why I'm keeping it at a modest size. I'm trying to not make the biggest house. I'm actually trying to make it scale appropriate. I'm not adding a basement, even though I really do want a basement, because I believe that would make the house too big and too expensive. And it just would add another $100,000 onto my bill that I don't have. So the idea is to build something, a high quality small house is what I'm trying to do. And hopefully that'll keep myself and my family satiated for some years.
So are you planning to be all electric in this?
I am, although I do enjoy gas cooking, and I definitely have a wood burning pizza oven. So
You could do propane for that, right? If you needed to.
I could. I mean, currently the house does have gas.
Oh, it does have gas, then you're
yeah.
okay.
Currently the house does have gas, and the idea is I'm building on top of the existing foundation. So even though this does not look like a rehabilitation, this is in essence a rehab of an existing house. It's basically a 2-level house now. I'm building back a 2-level house. This house is a flip-flop house. The garage, the siding of the house is the same. You know, the front doors is on the side. The garage is to this side. The rear yard is tremendous, to be honest. So the real, you know, idea and joy of the house is going to be the great room to this rear yard, and having a retaining wall along here. That's going to create just a beautiful area in our rear yard. Obviously, the drainage doesn't look so beautiful, but we won't see that. But that's it, creating a great space, indoor, outdoor, right on the river. And the way that the angle of the building sort of opens up. I mean, that's kind of the idea, is to not to make a full glass house, but to have a glass house, but still have, some solid elements. You don't need as much glass. So the idea is to give it some architecture that would, not make it want to be a glass house. Obviously, along the river, it is something that you do, look at. So,
And one last clarification, going back again to the west elevation, something that Dale was also trying to understand. Where that canopy is, how does the deck from the bedroom work with that canopy? It just looks really skewed.
It's not scary. It's basically, your colleague was correct that there's a glass railing. So it's the glass is what creates the 42-inch barrier. So, but it doesn't affect the steel. So the steel, the solid bit will be the sort of outer layer. Then it's going to become a planter at the end. That's going to have plants hopefully growing that will sort of spill over the side of this element and create like a green element. So the idea is to really have the house set in nature, a lot of green. Conceptually, it was, my goal was to create like a sort of gate here, but like through some vines or something, create something landscaping wise to make a privatization here in here. And then you come in, and then this element would also be something that would be covered in green. So when you walk in, it would be this sort of green element that you'd come in, and then here's the deck from the second floor. So the idea is the deck from the master is on the roof of this this patio element. So I'm trying to basically put a deck there without making it look like a deck. I'm trying to maintain the architecture, but
I think the plan is excellent. The planning is superb. I like the way it looks on the outside. As you said, you've already shown this to the neighbors. I'm not sure, Jennifer, are there any neighbors present today?
No, there's no neighbors present.
Okay. Dale, do you have any more questions?
Of all the things, I think there are many things that are really wonderful about this house. There's something about that patio deck element and how it folds or how it recedes, it appears, it just appears precarious to me. It doesn't, I don't see how it resolves itself. I understand the railing, and I'm looking at the structural columns that are supporting it, which are sort of, it appears that the roof is rotated up underneath it, but I can't see the line of the rotation. And I'm looking at the elevation on sheet number 11. I'm looking at the rendered plan from the side view, and also looking at the front view, which shows a piece of it also. And I understand what you're trying to do, and I see that it sort of expresses itself in front of the house. I just don't quite understand that the covered walkway portion below that and how that is resolving itself with the rest of that facade.
It looks like the whole deck slopes for
Yeah,
some reason. And I think maybe that's because of the way the railing is. You have a portion of it that's your steel beam that's supporting the columns on the outside, Greg. I'm not sure how this is working.
Yeah.
It just looks skewed. Not scary, but skewed.
skewed, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a sculptural element. It's certainly, it's a matter of opinion, right? It obviously could be presented anyway. It's a piece of steel sculpture, which I do a lot of very sculptural staircases in my work. This is sort of an attempt to sort of bring that to the outside, but yes, to have it contrasting with the rest of the facade. So it is supposed to be somewhat of a whimsical element. I think that is the concept of it, is to not have it appear so logical. But what I am trying to do is give myself a nice deck off of my bedroom without having it just be a deck plastered on the face of the house. Like, this is where that is right now.
No, I fully understand that. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It just in my mind, I can't resolve it. So that's
Yeah. Well, it will be resolved. And generally, and that's honestly what I kind of say is like, yes, this is architecture. This is, I understand this may be slightly aggressive. But when I go through the process, if I look at it and it's fucked up, I'll call you over and we'll fix it. Okay. How's that? But that's really it. I mean, basically, believe me, it's my intent to make this as the best that it can be. Small house, keep true to the concept, simple form, even though it's not such a simple thing, but it's supposed to be like a simple shape. It's not this house with all these different things. It's supposed to be a simple shape that has these sort of cuts away with it. And yes, this element is certainly an intrusion onto that. It is a sculptural element attached to the house. It is certainly a part of the architecture, but it's my intent to make it as exciting and as interesting and as wonderful as possible. But I would say I think it's going to be amazing, and I think those are the differences that really make it interesting, because it's not supposed to be 100% logical. It's not supposed to be like, that's the concept. It's like, you want people to think, you want them to be challenged a little bit. I personally, I struggled a lot with this house just because at first I was like, let's just paint this house, or I was literally just going to take the current house and just like slap some new modern skin on it, paint it and do that. And then of course I can't help myself, but the idea is that, I believe in this location. I believe it's a special site. I believe it warrants a special effort. And that's what I'm trying to achieve. I struggled with, not wanting to do more, what do we really need to do? But I think it's a balance. I think it's doing a lot on a relatively tight budget. So that's the idea, is keep it a simple house, keep the spaces simple, not egregious, keep it in scale with the neighborhood, height, size, width, but then satisfying our program, our needs. For my family, I have 2 kids and a wife and maybe a dog soon. So you never know. But in any event, that's really it. I'm trying to do something interesting and wonderful and unique. And that's my job will be to make sure it comes out right, including these details that, unfortunately, I could model it. I could build models of it. I could say, you know what, when I get to it, and if it changes, then I got to come back and see you guys and say, this is a detail and I'm going to change it because it doesn't work. And that's what it is. But I think the house itself is, is going to be amazing. And I think that, with a project like this, it would not be unheard of if I did have to come back because something wasn't working out or did change during the course of it. I mean, that would not be the first time something like this would happen on a project like this. So
I actually like the concept that you have for the entry. I think it is definitely, the right word is whimsical. In fact, the whole project is whimsical, and whimsical in architecture is definitely good. There's nothing wrong with whimsical. You might just want to take a look at that angle and how it relates to everything else eventually, I guess, when you start figuring it out. But other than that, I think I really, really wish you well. I think it's a wonderful project. I think it'll be fantastic in the neighborhood. And you've done a great job with the layout on that. I don't know, Paul, do you have any other comments on this?
Not really. I'm kind of getting a new modern take on an old concept, a split level concept, which I think is really cool, actually, because you kind of got the going up and the going down with the stairs, and I like elevating previously scoffed at architectural concepts like that. I think it's great. I'm ready to vote yes on this, but curious if Dale has any other comments.
No, then I suggest that I vote to approve this. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Paul seconds, approved. Good luck, Greg. Hopefully we won't
thank
see
you so much,
again.
guys. Thank
Okay.
you. Good
No,
luck.
it's a nice project. Thank you.
You got it.
Dale,
Thanks.
you said approved, right? I didn't see
Yeah.
it. Okay,
All in favor?
All in favor.
Okay.
thank you.
Next item on the agenda is 35 Judson.
I'm putting Miss Vecchio on right now. Mrs. Vecchio, I'm trying to promote you to a panelist. You have to accept when I try and promote you to a panelist. I think it says accept or okay. There you go. Mrs. Vecchio, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Hello, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Jacqueline Vecchio, and I am the owner of 35 Judson Avenue, Dobbs Ferry, New York.
Are you able to share your screen with us, Ms. Vecchio? Show us the project that you're proposing?
I can't do that. I'm sorry. I am not computer literate. All of the paperwork and the material that I'm using is all there. My daughter.
I can do that. That's not a
Me.
problem. Let me see if I can do that. Okay, give me 1 minute.
It's a very simple project. Anyone who knows Judson Avenue, would know the house. I've owned the house. I've lived in Dobbs Ferry since 1970, and I've owned the house since 1973. So it's a house that's well known on Judson Avenue. And this is an emergency situation because with the hurricanes that we've had, okay, you could see the cedar, the 2 hurricanes have done the house in, the windstorms that we've had over the last year, this should have been done before COVID, but COVID came and pieces of the cedar were flying off the house. The Tyvek has been damaged. So I at first thought that I would paint the house, and I called several reputable painting companies in, and they said, no way, it's never going to sustain. The cedar is just destroyed. It's never going to sustain the paint. So I looked for I believe Earth Day has just passed. I believe in a green environment, and the product that I've chosen, which is on my front lawn, it's been there since April 5th, because I need to get this done before my house has any more damage. Water is coming in. Water was coming in before all the cedar was taken down. And that's where I'm at. And I've submitted.
Okay, I don't think that most of that has to do with the architectural review board. However, I will show, this is what you are proposing, right? This is how, okay.
And it's in tune with, I've gone up and down around Riverview Manor, and it's in tune with the neighborhood. Right before the house looked like an eyesore. I've had the cedar treated. It didn't do any good. I am going to make the house really stand out and be a model on Judson Avenue.
No, I think this looks fine. I actually went and picked up a sample from the building department. The building inspector shared it with us. One quick question is that I see that on your existing house, you do have trim. Will you be painting the trim white just the way this picture shows?
The trim will be either in white or what the windows are trimmed in. I don't know what type of composite material that is.
Hold on, let me see the existing photos. The windows are white, and there is trim around the garage doors that I can see.
It's white. It's going to be white.
It's going to be white, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There
Sorry,
also seems to be a 2-inch trim around the windows in the photograph, a 2 or 2.5-inch trim on all sides of the windows. If you look at the
talking
roof.
about this trim, right, Dale?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yes. So that's what I wanted to confirm, that we're going to be painting all the trim white.
Yes.
Okay, and then I think that I did share the sample. I'm going to stop sharing this. This was the sample that I picked up. Is this the color in the sample that you plan to do, the storm?
Yes, it's a wood grain, and it will look identical, and it will look 100% better than what was on it before.
The wood grain looks really nice. I like the color. I don't have any issues.
Thank
Dale, do
you.
you have any questions?
No, looks good.
Paul?
Oh, good luck.
Okay, so I suggest we approve. Is there a second? Dale seconds. Everybody approves. Mrs. Vecchio, good luck with the project. I think it's going to look really nice.
Thank you. So I can contact my contractor and tell him he may begin this week if we have favorable weather.
John?
Ms. Vecchio,
Yeah.
he just has to come down and I believe just pay for the permit and then we'll issue it ASAP.
I paid for it already.
Okay, then you'll be good to go. I'll take a look tomorrow and we'll get it issued.
Thank you, Dan.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much to the board. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good luck again.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay, so we can adjourn the meeting. I have a second. Paul seconds, adjourned. We will